folks, well, safe to say you didn't see that one coming, eh? Is there anything else to say? I don't know. We're going to break it all down right here on the Ozone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the Ozone. That's Coach. That's Katie. I'm the Devo. We're here to talk all things Leafs. I'm coming to you live from downtown Toronto, from the Ozone HQ. Coach, where are you at today?
Well, I'm down here in Texas, guys. We're not happy about Joe Pavelski's hit, or the hit on Pavelski. And did the Leafs play last night?
No, they didn't actually. Tampa did. Yeah. Katie, where are you at?
Well, we're soul searching off the Danforth here. It's a dog eat dog world, and I'm wearing milk bone underwear.
Yeah, it feels like that sometimes, doesn't it? All right, folks, before we get started, hit subscribe, ring the bell. You'll never miss any content. Share and like the video. It helps spread the word, helps broaden the audience. Leave a comment. We could use it. Hopefully it's some terms of endearment, because we're all suffering a little bit today. Anyways, you know the drill. Guys, that was worse than anyone could have imagined, I think. A thorough ass-kicking from beginning to end, really. Down 3-1 after 1, 6-2 after 2, 4 power play goals against. Samsonov pulled. Hull on there for 6 against. O'Reilly, Tavares, Nylander, all -2. 5 in a game for Bunting. Oof. All right, this could take a while, but let's start it off by asking what we didn't like about last night. Katie, I'll start with you.
What we didn't like, or what we liked?
What we didn't like.
All right, well, let's start off. Yeah, I've said it. Yeah, I said it really for 2 years now since we've been doing these pods. You know, when you get in the playoffs, when you start talking about things like commitment is not like running through a wall. You know, though, that we probably need a couple of those guys too. Commitment is doing all the right plays and being really smart about it. It means being in the right position. It means taking a hit to clear the puck. It means going to screen the other team's goalie, get in the ugly places, knowing what you have to do to not leaving to win and not leaving the zone early like we saw all night. And we just didn't see it from really anyone. I mean, there wasn't a lot of leadership, and there certainly were lots of little mistakes all over the place. In aggregate, they added up to like a just horrific performance. I think we'll break a few of these down, but I mean, I don't think anyone is happy about their game. I know our big score, a stud scored a couple times on the power play, but 5-on-5, they were really anemic. There was virtually no odd man rushes. Like there's no breakaways, no 2-on-1s, virtually no 3-on-2s. Puck was not moved. There was no support. Wingers left early all night. I was sitting up in the Blues. I was there last night, sitting up in the Blues, and there wasn't a forward in his, in a good position in his own end to get a pass from the first shift on. It was really sad. So when you look at a game like that and you lose that way, it's really disappointing. Certainly, disappointing to spend $500 and watch that live to lose. That was a little bit more painful. But when we talk about commitment, again, it's not about burning calories and sweating hard. It's being mentally in the right spot and doing all the little things that get you to win. And there's just so many little things they did wrong. They're just disappointing.
Yeah, quite frustrating, and this is a team that really, its hallmark this year was doing quite a lot of the little things well. They didn't rely so much on individual performances as they have in years past. They did the little things to get here, and that's what they have to do in order to be competitive. Coach, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just tired of coming on here when games matter and talking about being outcoached. Leafs were outcoached last night. Here's what I mean by that. Kev, you were alluding to it. Either they were coached, the game plan was put the wingers really high, so at the other team's blue line, and fire pucks at them and chip them in. Either that was a strategy, or he couldn't rein them in for doing that. Because that's what happened. Tons of icings. And by the way, when you got two of your guys at the other team's blue line waiting for Gio to fire one at you so you can tip it in, you're not going to get that puck. You're standing still. You're just giving them the puck. So, Devo, you talked a lot about, hey, we need to skate, right? Well, the Leafs do a really good job of getting their feet moving when they come back, make a short pass, get out of the zone, and enter the neutral zone with speed. Right. Then even if you dump, you're moving.
At least you're moving.
You get a chance at forechecking, for goodness sake. Yep. It wasn't until the second till we saw that. But here's the thing, guys. I look at the D end. Oh, by the way, before I get into the D, Samsonov was terrible. Terrible. That's his worst game as a Leaf. And you know what? He made some good saves. But like the team in front of him was awful, and he matched. Yeah. He's got to be better. But the D, it felt like beer league the first 10 minutes. Yeah. Backing right up. Hey, look, I know I do it as much as anybody. I'm a beer league guy. Do you know why I do it? Because no one ever remembers if the guy comes in the slot and shoots it between your legs and scores. Not my fault. Goalie should have had that, right? They sure as heck remember if you play tight, you play the way we played for 82 games, and you take space away and force them to dump it, because on the off chance the guy actually beats you, everyone remembers that. Man, did they have space to move. Braden Point can move, right? Yeah, when he has two zones to wind up, of course he can. Yeah. But the most egregious thing I did not like is the way we defended in front of our net. Yeah. I mean, my goodness, guys. Here, let me give you an example. None of the D were great last night. The Hall-Giordano pair was the worst. They were dashed 2 each. Devo, you mentioned off the top. Hall was on for 6 goals against. That's a month. He was on for 6 goals against. 4 were on the power play, or their power play. He kills a lot of penalties. Penalty killing wasn't good either. But 2 even strike 2. Let me just show you. This was a precursor of the game, okay? Here's 7 seconds leading into the first goal, okay? So it starts here. You can see there's 18:50 on the clock. 1:10 in, guys. Aston Reese has the puck on his stick. This puck has to get out. It has to get out. Every time it has to get out. You can skate it out. You can chip it out. But what you can't do is turn it over, and he does. So I skipped ahead a couple seconds. Corey Perry has the puck in the corner. Okay, you can see it circled. I want to focus on Giordano and Hall. Kemp has good position on Corey Perry with the puck. Giordano plays the strong side. His job is to not allow Perry to cut in front of the post. Hall has him if he goes behind the net. We're in really good shape here. By the way, guys, Leafs 5 men deep. This is good. Perry continues behind the net. Gio's got the strong side. Hall is going to take him. His job here, he cannot give Perry inside position. Let him go all the way around if you want. He can't get inside. Well, what happens? He gets inside. Mm-hmm. It can't happen. It can't. Stand beside the post and make him go that way. Just stand there. He lets him cut in. There's Hall behind. Well, now all hell breaks loose. Okay, a second later, Perry swings around and shoots. Oh, and by the way, if you get beat like this, sometimes it happens, you better haul ass to the front of the net. In the yellow here, this is the gap Hall has. He has to close that to get the Bellemare stick. Here's the shot, rebound, you see it lying right there. Not a great rebound. He knocks it in. Damn it. 1:17 in and we're down 1, and we just got manhandled in front of our net. That pair has to be better, fellas. They're playing against their 4th line. Yeah. It just drives me crazy, and then, it was downhill from there. I know I took a long time, but I'm pretty frustrated.
Yeah, listen, it's true, and just as a refresher for our loyal subscribers, if you watched our last episode, I think we'll have a little link here. You'll note in that I stressed several times when answering questions from the mailbag that what the Leafs needed to do to win was play to their strengths, which was try to outskate a slower opponent. And if there was one line that really is not fleet of foot, it's that line. It's that Perry line. But when they get that puck deep on you, They can roll on you. We can't find ourselves playing that kind of game. The Leafs do this incredible thing, guys. You've heard me rant about this before. But the Leafs are makers. They make certain players, they have this propensity to make certain players look way better than they are. We've seen it with Max Domi, Josh Anderson, a few years ago in the playoffs, Deneau. Ironically, all Habs guys I've listed, there were a bunch of them. If an alien came to Earth one day to watch any of these guys play the Leafs, they would assume that player was Wayne Gretzky. Corey Perry was essentially Wayne Gretzky last night. He was unstoppable. The Leafs had no answer for him. If an alien came to town and saw, he was in on every one of those first 5 goals. He either scored, had an assist, or he drew the penalty to create the goal on the power play. He was on all 5 goals. You know how many of those 5 in the first two in those first 2 periods that he was in on directly? Do you know how many minutes he played? 5 minutes. 5 minutes of hockey he played in those first 2 periods. And he was the best player in Toronto at playing hockey. He was better than everyone else on his team. He destroyed the Leafs. Destroyed them.
Well, we kind of helped him a little bit there. And there's a classic example with Hall, and I guess both guys. We'll talk about the bad pass too. We had the bad pass one guy trying to do too much, and then the other guy taking a shortcut. Hall was in perfect position. All I had to do was stand there. Perry would have had him done something. Hall put himself out of position because he tried to anticipate. He thought the puck was coming around. And he tried to outguess. Taking shortcuts. Just taking shortcuts. We can't take shortcuts. See, you got to do the little things right to get to the big prize, and they just weren't doing that.
Nothing worked for the Leafs. We're gonna wash it away, guys. You got scored on in the last 5 seconds of all the periods. You got scored on early in all the periods. Every time you started to have a chance, you took a penalty, or you kind of let up. When it was 3-2, the game was back. It was even. The Leafs were evening the score, and they let that line roll in on them again and beat them around in the corners. It's very frustrating.
Bunting can't take that penalty. That kills us. And even if you think there's an inkling of a chance of coming back, the goal, the soft backhand goal with point whatever left in the second from point, it's the worst goal. That's worse than anybody's let in this year. Murray, Shalgren, that's such a bad goal.
Yeah.
You just need a save sometimes. We talked about it before, fellas. So you got to get a save. Yeah. The Kucherov one-timer, that's a bomb. Yeah. And I think you screened too, but we got to get a save. 2 seconds left.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Here's another question. I think this one will be very quick and easy for you guys. And I'll start with you, Coach. Is there anything you liked about what happened in the game?
Do you know what there is? And I'm going to be like glass half full guy as best I can here. So we've done 206 of these videos. This is number 207 between the full ones and the shorts. In every single one of them, when it comes up about blow it up versus stay the course, I've said after Montreal, it should have been blown up. Certainly after Tampa, it should have been blown up. Well, we are where we are, okay? So after that kind of loss, after that's the way we're going to prepare and come out and play in the first 10 minutes, one of two things. It seems to me it's very, very simple. And I have some peace about this now, too. Either this team is good, and it is the better team, and it should have been favored, and this team comes back and wins the series, in which case we're elated. And I could not be happier to be wrong. Mm-hmm. Or you cannot make an argument that there aren't significant changes needed. After that effort, Katie, we were talking, right? A 4-3 overtime loss. We still don't feel good, but at least we competed.
Yeah.
So what I like about this is it's very clear cut now. There can't be any ambiguity like there have been in past years. This is a hand-picked coach. We fired the most decorated coach on the planet to get this guy because he's the hand-picked guy. Okay?
Yeah.
Never got out. He won a Calder Cup. Never got out of the first round. We fired or we let Lou Lamoriello go so Boy Wonder could be the GM. Handpicked, right? But there can't be any indecision now. You either win finally and shut guys like me up, or you got to blow it up. You have to. So I find some peace in that. I kind of like that.
All right, Katie.
Well, I mean,
Tough to follow that. That's funny. That's Sunny remark.
I think I was texting about even blowing things up. So if you've won me over, I might want to blow it up even if they win this round. I think we're all going to get the chance to see our guy. I would with Bunting out, pretty much guarantees that Matthew Nyes plays, and so we get to see him. So there we go. We get to see him with some important hockey, and that'll be interesting. Whether he can. I mean, I don't think he can play any worse than what happened last night. So, but this is sometimes great players get get unique breaks, and we'll see if he's as special as we all hope.
Listen, and that's great. I don't know if I would say that was a great result for last night, but sure. I think if I were to say anything positive about last night's game, I would say at about 2 minutes into the second period. Till about 13 minutes in that second period, the Leafs actually started to take it. They took the game over. They made it 3-2. They actually looked like they were they looked like they were going to do what they needed to do. They were moving their feet. They were out skating them. Tampa was flat-footed, and had they even been able to hold the score at 4-2 at the end of the second period, it would have been a game.
Yeah, it's a chance.
And there's a chance.
And the building was rocking.
Again,
the building was very excited. Like all the momentum was there. It looked fantastic until that penalty. So, yeah, it was too bad.
For that 11-minute stretch.
For that 11-minute stretch, there was hope
Take
ran
that,
eternal.
Tampa.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look ahead, guys. We let's shake it off. Do whatever Pilates or yoga that you need to do in order to get that one out. Coach, I'm sure you're going to have to speak to someone and probably neck back a couple of bourbons for breakfast. Let's turn our attention to game 2. Speaking about bourbons for breakfast, we're all going to be together tomorrow at the rink. That'll be fun. It's always nice when the OZone gets together. I think our records. Do we have a winning record, or we're about 500?
Yeah. Nashville, we won. Columbus, Nick Ritchie scored.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we do well. All right. So we'll put some tweets out tomorrow. Anyone going to the game?
So we can deliver miracles.
That's right. Obi-Wan, you're our only hope. Okay. Let's turn our attention to game 2, folks. The entire OZone queue will be in the building. So let's hope we get a better effort. Let's dig in a little bit. Guys, let's talk about what the Leafs need to change or what they need to do in order to get a better result. Katie, let's start with you.
But technically, clearly defenders have to defend. So we'll start, and the goalie needs to stop. So that's pretty basic. The wingers have to play back. We have to support the puck better from a technical standpoint. They were awful at it. Had no momentum. Had no speed coming through your neutral zone to play Devo hockey. So I want to see much better supporting of the puck, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah, Coach, what do you think?
So Samsonov has to be better. He has to be. Get that going. If he's not, again, we're going to see Joe Wall. My goodness, right? We're done. So he has to be better. Yes, I agree. We got to defend better. Look, guys, we can't be nervous. Look nervous for the first 10 minutes. This is in the Matthews-Marner era, the 7th consecutive playoff that they've made. How are you nervous? Seattle could be nervous. New Jersey is allowed to be nervous. We can't be nervous. Okay? And then here's the last thing. This guy gets a free pass, and I'm not doing it anymore. Okay? So, Marner, not a great game, 3 points. Matthews, not a great game, 2 points. He was one of 3 guys that wasn't scored on against, right? They were okay. They were fine. They're both making 11. But John Tavares makes $11 million. $11 million. He is the 5th highest salary in the league. He is 67th at 5-on-5 points this year. And he was so badly outplayed last year in the playoffs
Yeah.
There's nowhere to hide him. We already have him on the wing. What the hell else are we going to do to hide this guy? And that line was awful last night. He has to bring something. And I know that's not popular. Everyone wants to defend John Tavares. We had to sign him to that contract. Gave us some legitimacy, right? Well, step up. He has to do something, fellas, especially since it sounds like O'Reilly's going to play center on a different line. That has to change. It has to change. So I hope it will.
All right, let me throw my hat into the ring here. Bunting has played his last game as a Leaf. I think it should be kind of obvious, even if the Leafs miraculously come back, win the series, go deep in the playoffs, unless there's an injury, I don't think Bunting plays again. I think the organization is going to take this as a bit of a slap in the face. They've been working with this guy on this for the last 6 weeks, and he did exactly what they've been trying to, don't hurt the team, and he hurt the team. Nyes and Simmons draws in, so we'll see what happens. It's going to be Nyes or Simmons unless they go with 7D on the back end, which is a possibility. It is a possibility.
Can you play all 7D at the same time?
Could have used a couple more in there on the first 2 goals. Take up space.
Keith got out-coached, in my opinion. Coach, I'm really echoing Coach's opinion here. I think he overthought the first period. I think he tried to overmatch and match with Cooper. To me, if your game is win with your horses and at speed, let Cooper worry about the matchups. Instead, they were guys in and out, 15-second shifts. There was no flow. It hurt Toronto. They got to get their speed going, guys. The speed makes Tampa's solid gap control in the neutral zone. It makes it harder. Speed makes Tampa's forward line less effective. Speed keeps you on the power play and not on the penalty kill. Speed. They have to play fast. If they don't, this series will be over in 4 if they don't. And I guess really I'll leave it at that. I mean, I would not really be surprised if they go with 11 forward 7D. I'm just going to throw that out there. Last question for you guys before we cut this one off. What's going to happen in Game 2? Will the Leafs show up for a win, or will the moment be too much for them to handle? KD, what do you think?
We got the rally caps going. We're going to take the Leafs and the money line. It's a must win. I think we're going to see a better version. Like we saw that last year. We saw them play well and we saw them play poorly, and I think we're going to see a good effort. I don't really think there's a mystique of Tampa Bay. I don't think the Leafs have it. I don't think they're scared of them, but they certainly had the yips at the beginning of yesterday. So I think that settles down. I think they play as a team better, support each other a little bit better. Ideally, if they're supporting each other, they're going to defend better. And just don't cheat. You got to be committed. You got to go harder than that, and they're going to do it.
All right, Coach.
I'm going to do something I haven't done. I mentioned we've done 206 of these. This is number 207. Not once, not in any of these, have I ever picked against the Leafs. But I'm disgusted by that effort in Game 1. And this is we're all crowing about this is the best Leafs team we've seen. And surely you could be ready for Game 1. You've known you're playing that team since December. You're gearing up for that, and that's the effort we get. You hate to overreact. I know I'm overreacting. Okay, it's one game, and the Leafs are a good team, but there's something about even those injuries from Tampa that's going to make that's going to galvanize that team. Mm-hmm. We haven't talked about Vasilevsky hasn't stolen a game yet. I think it happens. Yeah, I think we're going to lose 3-2, and I think all hell is going to break loose. And guys, again, I said it earlier, I've been begging this team and this organization to prove me wrong. I wanted Matt Murray to prove me wrong. I wanted Dubas and Keefe to prove me wrong. I want Jake McCabe to prove me wrong, that he was the guy they should have got instead of Ekholm. Somebody please prove me wrong. Please win this game and prove me wrong.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you on one side. Maybe won't go all the way over to the dark side with you, Coach. It must be lonely there now. It won't be if they lose tomorrow night. And I will say this: if they lose tomorrow night, sticking a fork in it, it's over. So it's a must-win game. I agree with you too, KD. All right, there you have it, folks. We're going to find out what this team is made of. This version of the Leafs is officially on the clock. And the clock is ticking louder and louder. Win or lose, you know, we've always got you covered right here. You always come on the OZone.